Hey everybody, my name is White and I'm Ferda Tunes, and today we got the one! I'm going insane with this one, guys. Okay, holy. Today, as promised, as a bit of a Drain Gang finale, if you will, for all of the content I've done over the last few months, I will be ranking the Drain Gang CEO's discography, Bladee. I've done so many Blade videos at this point, he shouldn't need an introduction, but if you do need one, I made a video specifically for that. It became by far one of my most popular. If it wasn't obvious, this was by far the hardest discography ranking video I've had to do. And I have to emphasize that every single person is gonna have a different ranking, especially for this artist. Everyone has a different favorite. Everyone thinks, you know, it's gonna be all over the place. I feel like the comments are gonna be absolute mayhem, so I'm just gonna say it now. Tell me what you disagree with. Drop your rank in the comments. Let's, as usual, just have a discussion. That's the main reason why I do these videos. To clarify my criteria for this list, all albums, all mixtapes, all EPs, and all singles with more than one song on them. No collab albums. Unfortunately, I wanted to stick to just Blade, so no Trash Island, no AVP, no DNG, GTBSG, ABC123. It is strictly Blade in the spotlight getting these critiques today. I'm fucking nervous, man. So let's just fucking go! This is not it. Exile is the only Blade project that I find it's not really anything special, as much as I love the song Trial and as great as I think they are for just a late night vibe. I just think in terms of his whole catalog, it's kinda bland. Again, just really nothing special. I do like both of the songs on here, but I feel like if you put them on any of the other projects I'm gonna talk about, they would definitely be one of the weakest songs, so. Both tracks on here are very solid. They are just a few very short flows or moments that I'm just not crazy about. Again, perfect for like a late night vibe, but I just think he has a lot more impressive displays of this kind of sound mixed in with most of his other projects. So it's still pretty great. IEE is definitely a standout. Now, these are two criminally short but extremely fun, bright, energetic bangers. Vanilla Sky literally feels like you're soaring through the clouds, just flying so high, and Birdbath, the next track, almost feels like the crash down back to earth. Not in a bad way, in the slightest. I might even like it more than Vanilla Sky, to be honest. It's just, the lyrics got that kind of motivational shit to just push you forward, get you through the day, you know, and like that beat, come on, like how could you not love it? I know I said no collab albums, but Mechatalk is the producer on here, so it's still, end of the day, a Blade album. He's the only vocalist on here. It makes sense. The first half is great, and most songs on here are just crazy fun. And I cannot admire enough the refreshing twist of EDM mixed in with Blade sound. I just kind of wish as a full project they kind of fleshed it out a little stronger. The highs are incredible. Rainbow and God are especially great, but I think it kind of falls apart a little bit after Drama, which is another stellar banger. But the project as a whole is just a little too messy, and it just stretched its limits a bit too much for me, especially on the song Into One. I think that might be Blade's worst song, kind of by far. I think the only Blade song that I just really don't like. And honestly, that alone brought it down so many spots for me. Still, really fun album, really interesting twist to Blade's sound. You know, I admire it, hella. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna say this like 8 more times in the video, but it kills me to put this so low on the list. It used to be like top 5. I used to even think that this was like almost a tighter, flashier version of Red Light. But the highs on that album are definitely tough to beat. Even with Working on Dying having a lot of his best bangers, songs like Cherry Bracelets, Lordship, Under Your Spell, and Backstreet Boys are easily some of his catchiest songs too. Despite very few redundant flows and vocal spots, Blade's personality is on full display here, and Production fits him scary well. The beats on here, like, oh my god, just perfect for him to just get his shit off. His flexing, everything is so great. It's insanely fun. Again, catchy. And just great mixtape. Now this was one I didn't think was gonna make it so high, but the more I listen to it, like, it's just unimaginably consistent. 5 tracks, and all 5 of them are arguably some of his best. This is almost Working on Dying, just somehow even more smooth and more tight to me. Each song on here is magnificent and differs from one another perfectly. I couldn't deal with how blown away I was off first listen, and seriously, every single time I listen to it, still, I want to move it up on the list. But I think you guys will see why I just couldn't do that. The sheer impact and consistency in the incredibly unique aesthetic just throughout this tape makes it probably the most otherworldly and weirdest project he's ever dropped. I always mention how hard it is to describe his sound and the way it makes me feel. This is by far the hardest one I've ever, like, I was ripping my fucking hair out. It made it this low on the list because there's quite a few amateurish kind of vocal spots that are kind of grating to the ears, like even on the intro, Upgrade Enabled, and even Spellbound, like easily one of my favorites on here. His vocals are just not 100% yet, and really just that whole kind of amateurish feel. Someone even mentioned the mixing problems on it, and that was never a big problem for me, but again, just the vocal spots, he just felt like his sound wasn't fully there yet. As confident as it was, being so niche and weird, I can't emphasize it enough. One of the most unique pieces of music I've ever heard. There's not a bad song on here, just more than enough short moments that just unfortunately just take it slightly away from me. Still, mind-blowing tape. I wish I could have put it higher. I know a lot of people, especially on Twitter, say this is his best, and I respect it. This might be the most controversial spot here, but am I bugging? Like, come on, am I tripping? Like, I physically couldn't help but put this so high. It's probably his most consistent project. Now, there's only 3 songs, so, you know, that isn't saying a whole lot. But all 3 are some of his most accessible songs, without sacrificing any appeal or, you know, just overall sound of the Bladee we know and love. That's the main reason for me. As accessible as they all are, all 3 of them are just top tier Bladee. And even hearing this pretty late into my Bladee journey, I was a super fan by the time I got around to this one. It blew me away all over again and just reminded me why I love this sound so much. I could honestly talk about each track just through and through and through. We don't have time for that. But I gotta say, like, again, one of my favorite late night listens ever. Honestly, one of the best EPs I've ever heard. I just wanted to emphasize that all 3 of these are fan-fucking-tastic. Okay, like, this tape is definitely rough around the edges, but it is seriously one of the most colorful pieces of music that I have ever heard. Fairly easily, too. This was my introduction to him, so maybe I'm a little biased. I have seen the complaint that some people feel like Bladee was kind of carried by the production on here. And while I do see it, his vocals add so much to create this really cartoony world that just became so addicting to me. It can feel pretty repetitive in this sense, but nothing really overstays its welcome at all to me. And again, it's all just so otherworldly and glitchy and just digs into your brain. It's genuinely like a drug that I cannot get hooked off of. I don't want to get hooked off of. It all feels so animated and fun and carefree. Some of the lyrics are just so simple but so great and effective. It's just, oh my god, it's so addicting. It's so addicting. Oh, come on. Hey. I already know I disappointed some of my most loyal fans who I love with all my heart. I'm sorry. I'll just apologize. It's not in the top 2 or whatever. This reaction video was actually the first Bladee video I ever made, and it's so weird thinking about that now. His lyricism on here is probably the best across the board. on every track, there's always at least one line that just sticks out for being outrageously hilarious or clever. Like I said, I think it's a little less consistent than Working on Dying, but the highs on here cannot be denied. And there's just more than enough moments on here that are just some of Blade's best, period. Do I even have to mention like Obedient, I'm Goofy, Decay, College Boy, Fake News, and I could honestly go on. There's so many bangers on this thing, all some of his best. Definitely deserves a high spot for just being so fun and summery, but I would be kind of lying to myself if I didn't think there was just quite a few slightly weaker moments that his other projects, especially in the top 3, just don't have. I feel like vocally he doesn't sound as strong and confident as he does on more of the fun summer kind of banger tracks on his next few projects. And I find that if I'm not really in the mood for this one, the vocals can be kind of draining. I'm sorry, like, I still love it. Like, oh. Yeah, please be nice to me. Oh my god, like, these jokes fucking write themselves. Blade steps up the bangers yet again. His whole icy sound is just taken to new heights and incorporates a much more prominent flavor of trap music, especially in the percussion, obviously. And this makes his sound a lot more accessible, but still feeling just so out of this world. And while we're on the whole trap thing, this tape easily, without a doubt, has the most serene, dreamy, and fun trap beats I have ever heard, and it's honestly not even close. I feel like I keep using the same goddamn words. It's like, it's so hard to just describe this Drain Gang sound, period, but it's so dreamy and serene and luscious, but the beats all just keep it banging so hard with that trap flavor. It's a seamless blend that it works insanely well. Blade's performances on here just feel effortlessly top-notch, like he's just riding these spacey beats like it's nothing. There's great flow all over the place, very, very few awkward vocal spots. And the songs that really grew on me, Close, For Nothing, and Special Place, are these immaculate, like, soundscapey trap ballads, which saying trap ballads is a thing I don't think I came up with, but something I didn't know or even think could be pulled off so unimaginably well. Even on the song Fake News on Red Light, but Close? Oh my god. And do I even need to mention Be Nice to Me, Jaws, Frosty the Snowman, Side by Side, Inside Out, Mall Whore, so many essential bangers on here. It is a magical mixtape. Easily his most fun project. Like, if I'm thinking of bumping Blade in the whip, I don't even really think twice most of the time, and I slap on Ice Dancer. Really, I could really go on all day. Feel Like, oh my god, the way that just honestly, it's one of my favorite mixtapes ever at this point. Like, probably top 10, which is really, like, high school me would be like, what the fuck are you talking about if he heard this? Blade and White Armor just completely knock it out of the park on this one. Touching on seemingly every single sound that Blade has touched on throughout his career, coming together into this fully formed, versatile, god tier album. Shout out to the YouTuber Matt Lawrence, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I really think he put it best when he said this really just feels like the total package from Blade. Everything you could want from him is just seamlessly blended into not every song on here, but again, there's 16 tracks and it's less than 40 minutes. It's so tight and so versatile and so just, it's like a grand display of everything Blade is good at. And seriously, I think almost every single song on here could be argued as one of his best. And this album made it surprisingly high on my best albums of 2020 list video last year, And I wish I could go into just more detail and really flesh out just how colorful, fun, and serene, transcendental this album is. It might be the most essential Bladee album at this point. Like Matt said, it's the perfect introduction to him. It's the full package. Really, like, I just have to chalk it up to it just being so perfectly versatile. And the showmanship is just so great from both of them, White Armor and Bladee. It's just slightly tighter than Ice Dancer for me. Like I said, all these 5 picks are just super close. It's so close to being number 1. But, I mean, there is one, like, I mean... This album, man, like, it took me way longer than it should have for this album to really click for me, and for me to really see how deeply profound just the sound of this album was and the feel of it all. This is easily his most vulnerable and emotional album, and me constantly describing his sound as cold and icy really comes from this album. I think this is easily his most consistently thematic, and most of these songs here sound like they're from the same world, and they all just tie together to just open up new parts of your brain and in different ways comfort your deep, cold depression. You know, seasonal depression for some of you. Who the fuck really likes winter, you know? It's cold as shit, you know? This is that warm blanket, man. Blade's vocals what do I say? Just over the last winter, this album just opened itself up a trillion times more than I ever would have thought of. And I enjoyed it before, but honestly, if I didn't have so many just listens to this on cold winter nights, I just don't know how to describe it better than that, but I will do my best. Bladee and White Armor blend cloud rap and emo pop rap kind of thing seamlessly to create this cold, ethereal, but bright world, weird enough. Blade's often kind of hopeless lyrics provide this odd comfort, you know. It's not a very uplifting album, but it is so much a comfort album to me. And you know, maybe some people get a completely different feel with it. That's the beauty of music, obviously, but some of his vocal performances on here are some of his smoothest and most beautiful, honestly, especially on the ears, like on X'd Out and R.I.P. and Skin. Romeo still might be my number 1 favorite Bladee song. It's impossible to pick just one at this point, but it's all so otherworldly, but delivered in a way that just, weird enough, it hits close to home, especially when you get used to the album and you're really just riding with it and you can sing along. Oh, it's something else, man. It's really special. I don't know what else I can say, really. Like, every track on here is so stellar and smooth and icy and comforting, refreshing, and just... So, holy hell. I think that's about it. I'm praying I didn't miss anything. So we're done. Oh my god. As requested, you know I'm Ferda boys, or I guess I should say Ferda fans. Here is my official Bladee tier list. It's probably just gonna, share it with your friends, whatever. I'm sorry, I really plan on sticking with this format for the discography videos I make. Always love to hear feedback, but I really think this is the best way for me. Again, tell me your ranking, please. I need to know, and tell me why, please. I'm going crazy here. I'm gonna have another very short discussion video coming out specifically for you Drain Gang fans, talking about really the future of this channel. I cannot thank you enough, and I cannot be grateful enough to you guys and just the universe for leading me into this direction, and it's been so amazing. And of course, as promised, any future Drain Gang releases, I will be in there like swimwear. I love you. Thank you so much for watching. Much love, as usual. Everything's in the description. Come follow me and talk some shit with me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that bullshit. Much love. I can't say that enough. Thank you for everything. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like. There's so much Drain Gang content, so go back and revisit some if you want, or if you haven't seen. There's the whole playlist, you know, I'll link it up. And goodbye.